Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And with the holidays upon us, and more importantly, the end of the year, we here at Friendo Club, Steve and Larson, going in raw, what have you, we've got our wish list, Larson. We've got our things that we want, nay, are entitled to in the new year, Larson.
Well, let's just say our holiday wishes for 2025. You know, let's not talk about all this entitlement. No, none of this need.
Oh, yeah.
Just things we would like to have happen. This is good, different than our predictions.
Yeah.
Which will be on the podcast channel about what we think is going to happen.
Right.
Stuff that we wish would happen, that we would like to happen.
Right, correct. And this is across all of wrestling. This is our holiday wish list for 2025. Again, these are things that we will riot if we don't get because we are leaders in the internet wrestling community, Larson. We should have these things given to us.
Fine. All right. They're going to be
What's your first one?
adamant about it.
What's your
my first one?
Yeah. What does Larson
I feel like
need?
NXT should become a full-time touring brand.
Right? That's a great one.
I know. I don't think it's going to happen. I looked at WWE's calendar of events for the next few months. There's nothing for NXT listed at all.
I wish I knew how, like, the announcement that they were going to the. So, for example, we're taping that. Yeah, it's going to go up same day. Last night's episode of NXT was at the Lowell Memorial Auditorium. Like, when was that publicized? When did those tickets go?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. But it's a great venue. It looks awesome. It's got tons of
great.
characters. They did a whole video package about historically what's happened there in terms of WWE programming. You know, they've done the the ECW arena. Make that a regular thing. For example, with NXT this week is obvious. Raw was in Boston.
Mm-hmm,
They probably kept some of the production staff around.
To
shoot NXT in Lowell. Just do that going forward.
Yeah.
If you want to try to minimize the cost of it, wherever Raw is, find a smaller venue in that same city. Shoot NXT there.
The crowd was great. The crowd was awesome. It was a really cool environment. You get that fresh crowd that's like starved for NXT content. No, I thought it was great, man. I thought it was a really cool thing.
Yeah.
I love that. That's a great first one. So my first one is going to be something that you and I have been asking for a very long time. But again, this is a wish list. I don't expect this to happen, but I'd love to see it, man. And that is both WWE and to a lesser degree, I guess, AEW, although they don't really violate this presentation philosophy all that often. I want the fly on the wall backstage segments. All right. When Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods are having a private conversation, it should come off like it's private. Why? Like we all know there is a cameraman standing right there. And I do appreciate that, like, for example, when they were in that backstage interview with Jackie Redmond, Xavier Woods got the camera in his own hands. And it sort of violated that idea that, like, oh, these cameras are supposed to be invisible. Because in WWE, if you're on an interview, it makes sense for there to be a camera. If two people are having a private conversation, it doesn't make sense for a camera guy to be 5 feet away. And so I would love to see them add a little dimension of realism because I think it enhances the performances. If the idea is, hey, everybody's mic'd up, but they want to back up a little bit because they want to have a private conversation, then it feels like the audience is seeing something they shouldn't be seeing. That's not meant for their eyes, as opposed to just this very staged, you know, like both sort of pivoted towards camera, doing awkward fucking soap opera dialogue. Man, let's get some of that. And you could look at TNA back in like when, you know, whatever it was, 2009, 2010, 11, whatever it was. And they had those backstage private conversations that the cameras happened to catch. And I wish they would move there. I don't expect it at all because it's not part of their, you know, what they believe is a tried and true formula for presentation. Even though Triple H, Paul Levesque has flirted with, you know, things going on in the background. He does that every once in a while. I want everything to come off like we're not supposed to be seeing this.
Exactly. Because they kind of have their cake and eat it too when they have the interview segments, which it makes sense for the camera to be there. The camera's motivated.
Yeah.
But when two people are having a private conversation and they are, for example, hatching a plan, talking shit about somebody, like, are they just not aware how are they not aware the camera's there?
Yeah.
It doesn't make any sense.
Right. Yeah.
You know, so if they know the cameras are kind of everywhere, Why would they just have that kind of conversation right in front of the camera, knowing it could be recorded and broadcast on the show? It doesn't make sense. Whereas if you change the presentation to a fly on the wall thing, then it's a situation where people don't know they're being recorded, having those conversations, and it feels like, as you mentioned, something that we're not supposed to see.
To a lesser degree also, I mean, I'll just piggyback on this really quick. It'd be nice if they got rid of the trope where nobody talks in between tapings.
Yes.
Even if they use social media, to have Sami Zayn in his car trying to get a hold of whatever, Jey Uso, Seth Rollins, whoever he's trying to get a hold of, it would be nice to understand that these people do know how to operate phones when the cameras aren't on them. Because every once in a while it's like, wait, they didn't talk the entire week? That's weird.
Doesn't make any sense.
Sometimes with the Bloodline, like we get a segment backstage in one of the suites where it's like, oh, I've been trying to reach Jimmy. Where's Jimmy? That kind of stuff, or Jay or whatever. And it's like, oh, that's kind of cool that they're addressing the fact that they tried to get an attempt was made to get in contact with this person. But so often they rely on this trope that like nobody communicates in between episodes. And it's kind of silly. Use social media for stuff like that.
Exactly.
All right, what's your next one, man?
Next for me, which one should I go with? I'll go with this one. This one's kind of vague, but I feel like AEW needs to get their shit together.
That's my number one, but it's so much more diplomatic. Go ahead, Larson.
Oh, how you put it?
Yeah.
Basically, from a variety of perspectives.
Yeah.
They need to get their shit together.
They do need to get their shit together, man.
It seems like once a week there's some story about how shit's going down at AEW. You're like, ugh.
Yeah.
Ugh. And that's not even taking into account what we see on television.
Right.
Which is sometimes it's not bad. Sometimes it's pretty good. Sometimes it's boring.
Yeah.
I'll say this. Very rarely is AEW actively bad.
Right. Yeah.
At worst, generally it's just dull. It's just kind of boring.
Yeah, right.
But there's obviously a lot of room for improvement, and we've seen them operate at a high level in 2021. It'd be nice to get back there. Am I optimistic that even though Tony Khan's talking about a new era of AEW when they move over to Max, that we're going to see changes that will benefit the company? I don't know. And it's not like I wish all the best for Tony Khan. I want a thriving wrestling business with a lot of healthy companies because it's good for wrestlers and it's good for fans. That's what I care about.
And more importantly, it's good for us. Yeah, man, when people are excited about the product, our numbers go up, means more money for us. But yes, like you're saying, man, more importantly, it is good for the business for it to be a good thing. My number one was simply Dynamite increases its ratings, but that's not going to happen until they get their shit together, man. In other words, as Jade Cargill loved to say back in the day, cut the shit, Tony. Yeah, it'll be interesting. I didn't hear that. I got to plug back in. I didn't hear the thing about Tony Khan saying it's a new era in Max. That sounds like something he would say, though. So it's not terribly surprising. And hey, who knows? Do we know when that Max deal starts? Like, when is that going to be?
Beginning of the year, I think.
Beginning of the year. Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing senioritis shit right now where they're sort of, getting what needs to be, assembled in order to get their shit together by the beginning of the year. And then we'll see. Look, honestly, I think we talked about this before, man. I feel like they've got the cast of characters. They've got the presentation. They need some compelling shit. That's what they need. And for the several 100,000 people that they're okay with, by and large, boring stuff. Look, man, I saw this on Blue. Somebody was saying, people don't like the Death Rider storyline because it's too nuanced for them. No, it's because it's not terribly compelling. That's the bottom line. It's not 4D chess they're playing over there. But I feel like they could turn it around. So, yeah.
I do too. I feel like, yeah, you're right. The ingredients are there for them to turn it around.
Yeah.
Will they do it?
It reminds me of two things. To a degree, and neither of them are WCW 2000. To a degree, it does kind of remind me of WWE 2019 in that, And some of that stuff, some of the story was actually actively bad there, and that's not what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But in WWE in 2019, they had a really great cast of characters. They just didn't maximize their potential. And I feel like that's one thing AEW definitely needs to do. And the other thing it reminds me of is kind of to a degree, it's like WCW in like 93. It's like you got a bunch of great characters there, but they just don't know how to put it together.
Exactly.
And the thing, the proof is in the pudding. They're bleeding audience right now.
Yeah.
So that was my number one. That's your number two. My number two is quite a bit more specific than any of this, and it was just I want Jey Uso to be world champion. I think that he has been one of the more interesting characters in WWE. We see him right now in his Midnight Vultures phase. Let's get him back into a really compelling story where he can be down in the sea change years and then bring him back up to world champion guy, because we've seen that with him where the crowd, they're invested in the Jey Uso situation. He's one of the most popular guys on the roster. I'd love to see 2025 him become world champion with a bit of a sustained run, not like his Intercontinental Championship run, which just seemed to facilitate one story beat and then he lost it. So that's my only other wish list besides, the Dynamite ratings, get your shit together one.
That's good. Yeet to that. Yeah, I'd be all about Jay getting a world title run, a sustained one. Doesn't have to be a year plus, but
meaty,
good meaty run.
Meaty.
All right, my number one.
Yeah.
Was we said this many times. There's 2 Royal Rumbles, right? If you win a Royal Rumble, you should be guaranteed a main event. One night of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
I want that to happen.
Yes. Yeah.
I want one main event will be for the winner of the men's Rumble, the other winner of the women's Rumble.
Yep.
That's how it should be.
Yeah.
Make it so.
Yeah.
Come on now.
Let's get it done.
Let's do it.
I agree with that, man. I think that should be something that they adhere to. Look, the bottom line is when people say, "Oh, well, the stories," no, listen, it's all fiction.
They can write the story.
You can create a compelling saga in the women's division and give them the night one main event. You could do that. It's very simple. They did it before with Sasha and Bianca. They did that before, and it was awesome.
It was amazing.
I'll be honest with you. The following year, they probably should have done Rhea and Charlotte in the main event of night one.
Yep.
Well, they didn't do it.
They didn't do that. No.
Those are good ones. We also have some wish list items. One for me, one for you. For right here at Going in Raw, Friendo Club, Wrestle Juice, whatever you want to call the things under the Friendo umbrella. Bill Friendo Incorporated, of course. Bill Friendo, our boss. What's your first one?
Is this one too vague?
Oh,
cool. Is this one too nebulous?
Okay.
I don't remember writing this, yet I wrote it down. It says make millions.
Well, shit. I mean, that'd be awesome. I mean, then we'd probably just retire at that point.
Can we petition Bill Friendo for a raise? In the amount of $1 million each.
In the amount of millions. We could probably do. Yeah, we could possibly do. That's what you have. Just make millions.
I don't remember writing that, but that's what it says here.
Who wrote it then?
I don't know.
Oh my God! Wow.
I don't know.
Okay. All right. Well, that trumps mine. I do have much more a specific one here, and right now we're on the road to it. Larson.
Is that 30,000 on Friendo Club?
No, I don't give a shit about subs. Look, buddy, we hit that 200,000 on Going in Raw. That's all I give a shit about. I'm approaching 50K on Wrestle Juice and 30,000 on Friendo Club. Whatever. That's great. This is what I want. Larson, every month now. I'm inspired now because I've inspired myself. The big blue prediction, the new situation where every month there's a new hat.
Yeah.
WrestleMania. 2-night WrestleMania. The ultimate predictions challenge. This is what I want. 500 friendos to participate in the WrestleMania predictions challenge. Right now, you and I are in discussions and negotiations for a special prize.
Oh.
Not including a hat. There's still going to be a hat. But
that
also
will be included, something in addition to hat.
Something in addition to hat. I want 500 friendos to participate. And of course, because the thing is, like, between the Patreon and the YouTube channel memberships, I'm pretty sure we've got over 500 people in the Friendo Club setup.
Oh, yeah.
So we want 500 friendos
500
to participate in the Big Blue WrestleMania Predictions Challenge. So we got a bit of a road. We got like a little less than 4 months to get there. I want to get there with 500 friendos participating in that predictions challenge, the biggest predictions challenge of all time. That's what I want to see. Everything with us has got to be just like with WWE. Everything we do has got to be the biggest ever, Larson.
Correct.
It sounds
An
exhausting.
Experience
though,
equal to or greater than
right.
last year's WrestleMania Predictions Challenge.
Right. Exactly. Or double it.
I'm going to change mine. I do want 30,000 on Friendo Club. I feel
Okay,
like those
that's cool.
benchmarks are good to strive for.
Yeah, I think that's great. I think there's some things we could do to get there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyways, things like this. This
I don't
awesome
know who wrote
video
this,
that we
though. That's
made.
concerning.
What's that?
I don't know who wrote this.
Who wrote that?
I don't know.
Make millions. That's inspiring. I'll be honest. That's inspiring right there. Make millions. All right. Well, 2025. Let's make our first mill.
Let's do it.